and welcome to Brandex Reviews. That was The Core you just heard. We have The Core.
Yes.
So this one's more what you wanted to talk about. The whole message thing. We talk about that occasionally
Well,
on the show.
I wouldn't even say it's necessarily about that, but it is the so fucking tedious argument of, oh, well, the original was really, kind of progressive, and you were, you must have had a problem with that. It's like, I said we didn't.
Yeah, because
literally nobody cared back then because it was nowhere near as cringe-inducing.
Yeah, and it wasn't coming from the same disingenuous place that we get nowadays.
I'm so sick of up of this argument. It's so disingenuous. Like, oh, it always was. Like, okay, well, make your mind up. Either it was always progressive, in which case, why do you need to make it more progressive? And why is it so stunning and brave that you are making it progressive if it's always been progressive? Or it never was progressive, and it was always, like, regressive and horrible and, like, cruel and evil, like they fucking rant on about in, like, interviews and stuff. In which case, no, it wasn't always progressive. Like, make your fucking mind up.
Yeah, and it's to do with tearing down the past as well, which again is another part of the agenda.
Like I said, I'm pretty sure there was, like, at least one interview where, like, they were ranting on about, like, how, like, basically using Star Trek as, like, a example here of, like, how progressive it was and stuff. And, like, one of the actors from, like, the older ones was like, well, I mean, we always kind of were. We always kind of did that sort of stuff. It's like it's like, yeah. Well, hang on a minute. Like, let's not pretend we didn't fucking exist.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me, I mean, the sort of rewriting of history and trying to, like, view it through a different lens to how it originally was, obviously is a big part of that. But we've seen some, like, really weird examples where they've even tried to rewrite history, like, as recent as the last few years. So, for example, one example that springs to mind, you had Jennifer Lawrence saying that she was the first, like, female... How did she put it? Was it first, like, female action star or something? Like, what the hell?
It's like, get over yourself. Like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
It's like they want to pretend like, oh, there's never been a woman in, like, film. There's never been, like, women, like, no, there always has been, like, maybe not as many as men. Like, you've got a point there, as far as that goes.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, it was, like, basically, again, back to, like, Star Wars, Star Trek, it's, like, an easy example. There was, like, this stupid person who clearly knew fuck all about the setting. Like, going about, oh, Michael Burnham, it's so stunning and brave that she's, like, the first person of colour to, like, be captain in Star Trek. It's like, Sisko, she's not the first woman either. We've had Janeway. She's not even the first black female captain. There was a black female captain back as far as season 1 of fucking, like, Star Trek The Next Generation. She didn't have a big part, but she existed.
Yeah, and if you just kind of look at the nature of the countries that these films are made in, if those countries are predominantly white, you're going to have more white actors. So by the balance of probability, that's who's going to get cast in these things.
It's like, I mean, there is, like, times you can kind of cast shade on it. Like, Star Trek, absolutely no problem finding, like, white people to fill up the planet of the week. Except when they've got, like, the backwards, like, tribal planet, in which case they suddenly find a lot of black actors.
Yeah, there's some, like, cringe
everybody's moments. Like, oh, that episode was fucking cringe. Fucking Tasha Yar episode, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you will sometimes find that, and that might come down, but that seems like an exception to the rule because it gets called out as rare.
Like, yeah, there's a point there, but it's also not, like, the standard. So what's the?
Yeah, and we call it out. And it's an anomaly when you see it. Hence, you can point your finger to, like, which episode it is. It's not something that normally happens. I mean, we're used to this as British people being villains in, like, American movies. The number of times that they do that, it's very common.
When we're not villains, it's like there is such. It's hard to point your finger to it, but you'll know exactly what I mean. Like when you watch, like, an American TV show, And they've got that episode where they go to like England and they'll be driving around in like a Mini, and it will be like, oh, pictures of Big Ben, and it's like, oh, fucking cringe. Like there is more to the country than just that. Like it's like I'm pretty sure everything you go to like in Canada isn't all like fucking maple leaves and hockey either.
Yeah,
pretty sure there's more to the country than that.
Or when you go to Mexico and you just put like sort of yellow tinted lenses over, so everything looks kind of yellow everywhere.
No, that's actually what happens. Like the moment you cross the border, it's just like somebody's come and like stuck some glasses on you.
Yeah.
Don't you know that's just sight? No, I'm joking.
Yeah,
not being sight.
But I mean, we in Britain have done the same thing. I remember. Well, there's a soap called EastEnders, and this was back in the 90s, I think, or maybe the early 2000s. I think it was late 90s. I think it was like a few episodes where like a few of them went to Ireland, and it was like cows running around in the street and stuff, and it was just like, so it caused a lot of complaints because it was just like, Ireland's not like that. Who the hell?
Yeah, and like I say, justifiably so, but then they'll point at something like that and like, yep, this is reason enough for like all the stuff we're pushing.
Yeah.
It's like, say, going back to Star Trek, like the like shitty STD. It's like they're so desperate to defend that because it's a black, lead character and all this, and it's like, okay, the show is shit though. Like any other like Star Trek you can watch, and like even relatively like early in, you can point at the different like characters and be like, oh, that's Ensign Kim, oh, that's Janeway, oh, that's like Chakotay, or oh, that's Cisco, or oh, that's somebody else. I sat through an entire fucking season of Star Trek Discovery, and beyond Michael Burnham, fucking Tilly and what's his name, Saru, and the dickhead, like I couldn't like name any other member of the crew, and there was like a full crew beyond that. It's just like, yeah, there's the chick with like the side cut, and then there's the black chick who's usually on the con, and then there's like the android chick who is an android, like, and I'm not being like, nasty here. It's like, I could not name these characters to save my fucking life. And I'm exactly the sort of nerd that remembers shit like that.
You just get the names wrong, but you do generally remember them.
Well, no, I'll get the name of the actor wrong. Usually I get the name of the character, like, not too bad.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, like, literally, like, I'm not even being, like, saying this for effect. I could not tell you their names. You sort of found out a little bit about them in the second series, kind of. But, like, literally, they had to go back and do an episode to explain who the fuck the android woman is. The episode before they wrote her out, because they realised, shit, nobody's going to care that we're writing this character out because we haven't bothered in fucking introducing her. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's like, what's the point of having an ensemble cast when you don't know half of them?
Yeah, so like I say, with them, they're trying to rewrite history and so on, and say that the shows that they've usurped and obviously just completely repurposed to push the message, that those shows were always that way. It's like, well, they clearly weren't.
It's like, yeah, Star Trek Next Generation was progressive. It had like Geordi in a fairly prominent role from season 2 onwards and stuff like that. But they didn't like get up on a fucking pedestal about it.
Well, they'd show you like two sides to things as well. Wasn't there like an episode where it was to do with it was kind of like about immigration or something, and there was an issue with like one group of aliens going to a planet and kind of changing it. Well, to be fair, I'm probably not being very specific there, but this was in the Next Generation. But the counter argument was made that the indigenous people, their home was being effectively changed not for the better by having an influx of people flooding onto their planet. I don't know if you remember that one, but
I mean, there's a few it could have been, like, to be honest.
It was quite a common
usually
thing.
Whenever they'd have like one of these like supposedly like super progressive arguments, it would usually come from a don't be a dick kind of mentality. Like, accept people for who they are, don't try to change them, don't try and force your ways on other people and stuff. It's a message, like, even if you didn't necessarily agree with the message, you could sort of agree with it because it came from a very human kind of place.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's all try and be better about what we are and stuff. instead of like just having some like absolutely cringy motherfucker getting up and lecturing you. And if they're not actually, oh well, I've watched the show and they don't really lecture you that much. Yeah, like check social media around it when they were like making it, and you'll find the lecture. It was there. Trust me.
Yeah, I mean,
they will not keep their mouths shut.
And this ties in with the death of the movie star. I mean, I know we're talking about TV shows, but it's the fact that celebrities.
Well, I mean, it's the same premise.
Yeah, so they ruin their own kind of image. That's why people like Jack Nicholson quite famously shied away from doing interviews, because when they start running their mouth off, the mystery kind of like vanishes. I mean, I agreed with a lot of what Tom Cruise was saying, to be fair, when we saw about antidepressants like 20 years ago in like 2005 when he was promoting War of the Worlds. Not the best film, but it really did damage his image, because who he is perception-wise was massively compromised by the fact that he was just being very cringe. I mean, he was doing a lot of stuff that I would disagree with him, and being very cringe as well. Some stuff I agreed with him on. But it just took away the sort of, maybe a bit of the mystique, but the image that he had as a movie star. So when you get Tom Cruise in a movie, you get what he brings to it. Good actor, but doing stuff like that, and that was before social media as well. That was just to do with like interviews. Nowadays, you've got people like Mark Hamill. I mean, they're very extreme.
I mean, Mark Hamill has just fucking destroyed his popularity among certain people.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I don't necessarily agree with everything to do with this, but like the argument of like, the more you try and include, the more you end up excluding.
Yeah, I think that it's not an exact science, but I know what you mean. So yeah, with people like that, rather than less is more, so not saying much says much. It says more when you don't. And I'll give you an example of that shot in a second. Tom Cruise again. They just run the mouth off all the time, so more becomes less. It's like we care less about you, we value you less, because just running your mouth off. What I was saying before in terms of examples, Tom Cruise recently got asked in an interview. I'd play the clip, but it's kind of bad audio, so I'll just tell you what happened. In an interview, talking about, because he's got the upcoming Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, and somebody asked him at a press conference, what about, how is this film going to be affected by President Trump's tariffs, blah, 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 blah. And he just basically said, we're here to talk about the film. Just kind of avoided it. I think he tried to kind of fob the question off onto one of the producers, but yeah, it was just, they just basically said, we're here to talk about the film.
So, well, like I say, that's just it. Like, you can make these big, grand statements, but you are, like, pissing off, like, half your audience. Like, and you have to be, like, the most stupid individual to think, like, that's not going to hurt the, like, take away this film.
Yeah.
Like, Snow White is, like, an epic fucking flop. I'm pretty sure if Zegler had kept a God shut, it would have been far less of a flop than it was.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree on that. So, what I say, I think...
Yeah, go on, sorry.
Well, I'm going to say this is something we could kind of take off in loads of different directions, but it's been kind of a long video so far. So, any other aspects that you wanted to cover?
No, like I say, I wouldn't even say it's necessarily a woke thing or a message thing. It's just the arrogance thing of like, oh, well, it was always that. It's like, but it wasn't though. And now you're using this like perceived virtue as like a way to cover for something being like objectively bad. And that's not a good thing. Like, STD was crap. Like, I sat through 2 fucking seasons of that show before finally ditching it on the 3rd. Not because, like, oh, I didn't like it because it was up. I didn't like it because it was shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well...
And sitting here and arguing it's good just because it's got a black lead is a terrible fucking argument. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'll shut up.
No, you're right. I mean, it's just that's not. It doesn't make good storytelling, and it would work the same way. You could say, well, we're going to put a white person in this movie now, and that'll make it better. It's like, well, it won't. Not because white equals bad or white equals good or black equals bad, black equals good. It's because if that's the basis, if that's the story arc, just them existing, that's just not lending to good storytelling. You know, there's no hero's journey there. It's just, okay, they are what they are. That's crap. And we see quite a lot of that.
Mm.
But we're coming to the end of the sort of woke era. Well, I mean, obviously, lots of things in production for quite a while coming out, but we're going to be entering into just more of what's being dubbed by a lot of movie critics as the slop era, or tofu jokes aside, where it's just kind of vacuous nonsense. I mean, where the best thing that we can say about it is, well, at least it wasn't woke. So that's not, I mean, it's a good thing, but that's not like the be all and end all. So, but out of the back of that, there will come demand for good things, and then there'll be new eras, I'm sure. We'll just see how long it takes for that to come about. There's some good films coming out that look good over the next few months. So like Tom Cruise again, I'll be going to see the Mission Impossible film. You kind of know what you're getting with those. Obviously, spun them out many times. 28 years, get it right? 28 years later, really looking forward to that. That is a good trailer that he did. There's the John Wick spin-off as well, isn't there? The ballerina. Yeah, which is a female lead. Totally works as well. It's not like she's a woman, deal with it. It's not done like that. It's like this is a universe that's bigger than the John Wick character, even though the film was called John Wick. There's so many things. Like, I want to see more of that. I want to see more of that homeless person. I want to see more of like the Ian McShane character and the hotel and so on. So that's what we're getting. And there were some very good characters, like female hit woman type characters in the movie. So we want to see more of that. That's how that works.
Yeah, well, it's like actually paying attention to what there is demand for, rather than deciding what there should be demand for, and then criticizing you because you haven't accepted it.
Yeah.
And like, you really need to kind of like get your head around that, like, seriously. Yeah. Like the people who are like constantly like, oh, you're a bigot and you're hateful and blah 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 blah. It's like, that has never worked to bring people in to watch your films.
Yeah.
It's not going to suddenly start working now. Stop it.
Yeah. Well, there's also another example, Megan 2, which I'm looking forward to. Female lead movie. The concept doesn't really work if it was a male lead character. It's a very specific type of story, very specific type of character dynamics that you've got in that film, where you've got an auntie who's lost her sister in a car accident and is looking after her daughter, so that's her niece, who's orphaned, and invents this doll of a little girl that interacts with the orphan girl, and kind of like Ultron, like in the course of being built and existing to look after this girl, it sees everything as a threat and becomes artificially intelligent to a very scary degree. And the whole empathy thing is like amped up because that's the whole point of it. Doesn't really work if it was like a male equivalent of that. So that's fine, you know, it works. It's not just we're just going to do a film and instead of like being all male characters, we'll just swap them out for females. That'll work, right? So it has to work for a reason.
Yeah. So anyway, this video is becoming long as shit.
Yeah. Well, you wanted to open this rabbit hole and go down it. Anyway. Ooh. Exactly. So we'll leave it there. Just going to do a short video. I might post this the day after this goes up, but about Lethal Weapon 4K. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Unless there's any other words from you, Cole?
Yes.
Yes means no. Thank you very much.